Alrighty, family. Thank you for tapping into another episode. It's your guy, Boro, the Lucky Libra. As you can see by the title, we picking up the signs through the houses series with where we at Aquarius in the 5th house. So before we get into it, make sure to like, share, subscribe so we can circulate these gems. Tap into my Patreon to dive deeper. Tap into my website to connect with the Lucky Libra. Let's get right into it. Aquarius in the 5th house. All right, so this is my Libra risings. Okay, we got opposite sign and opposite house. And when we look at the 5th house, what is the 5th house? 5th house is our creative house, dealing with how we deal with our creative attributes, gifts, and talents, how we like to entertain others, what we like to be entertained by, the things we're going to be creatively into, the things we're going to be artistically into. Huge influence on anything dealing with creative endeavors, including children. All right, connecting to the inner child. How we like to have fun, okay? And definitely just heavy influences of self-expression in this house. So when we look at Aquarius in this house, Aquarius is the opposite sign here. Aquarius ruled by Saturn. All right, we know Saturn deal with restrictions, limitations, boundaries, rules, time, doing things with discipline, structure, right? Stability. So you want to know a house you have Saturn in. That's very important. That's your 5th house ruler. So wherever Saturn is at, the house that you have Saturn is going to be bringing energy to what is experiencing into the 5th house, good or bad. Now, Aquarius, the 5th house is, I like to say this is the stage house, how you conduct yourself on the stage. There's many aspects to creativity, creative expression. But, first you got like how you stimulate the idea, the awareness, the imagination, the vision, and then you have the expression aspect to it. The 5th house is more so the emphasis of the expression part of it, being on the stage, being seen, the attention, the spotlight. And when you put Aquarius here, Aquarius don't give a damn. Aquarius don't give two damns about spotlight, attention, being trendy, okay? And let me not say being trendy, because Aquarius they have their own individual way of manifesting being trendy and popularity, notoriety by doing things from a real unique, original perspective, different perspective, Uranus. However, when we look at Aquarius energy, it's more so dealing with, the networking aspect of things, relationships, business relationships, technology, the outside world, connecting things, stability, thinking outside the box, separating yourself from the pack and community at the same time. We have a sense of individuality. It's like, ever heard of the phrase, you have to learn how to be in the world and not of the world? That's some like Aquarius shit, right? Whoever made that shit, that got some Aquarius energy, whoever made that quote. But when we put Aquarius in the 5th house, they bring more of that Saturn business oriented like influence when it comes into their creative endeavors, when it comes to how they express themselves. For one, they may have a real quirky, weird, unique, different, rebellious form of expressing themselves in the creative realm. Their music, if they are artists, if they public speak about something, they teach something, whatever they do that puts them into situations in their life when they're center stage and people are looking at them, they got attention. It can be for things that's rebellious, that go against the grain. So these people can have, what's the word, the phrase, black sheep forms of expression. They can be real black sheepish in the 5th house. All right. A lot of the ideals they express or whatnot through their art, it is from a more individual, somewhat revolutionary perspective. All right. Aquarius is a revolutionary energy. Aquarius is a rebellious energy. So you got to look out for that when it comes into creative expression. May deal with some power and control issues, dealing with your creative expression, dealing with your creative endeavors and projects overall at times. All right, have to be careful who you work with, who you network with, but there will be a lot of opportunities here to connect and build fruitful relationships based off of what you do in your creative industry. All right. Or how you deal with situations in your life being center stage, real real fruitful relationships from a financial aspect could develop here at times. Okay. Now, but yes, these people have a real outcastish undertone influence when it comes to their art. Even the way they probably dress or express themselves could be out of the norm. When it comes to accessories, hair, dye, the way they dress, all of that, everything about Aquarius go against the grain. And on top of that, it's in the 5th house here. It's the Libra rising, so it's already in the opposite energy. This house about attention, spotlight, creative expression, creative talents. Aquarius in here thinking, man, how can I navigate, move around anything that I'm dealing with creatively to build something, and sometimes how can I do that to build something bigger than me, How does what I do creatively connect to humanity, help influence humanity? What's the purpose? What's the purpose in my music and what I'm expressing and what in the awareness I'm giving off? Like, that's like the influence that could come with Aquarius in the 5th house. But once again, Saturn is here. You need to know where Saturn is at in your chart, since it rules the 5th house. But once again, Saturn energies hitting the 5th house. Saturn deals with restriction, limitations, boundaries. So when you have that energy hitting the 5th house, sometimes you could over practicalize, overthink, look too deep from a realistic perspective, quote unquote, when it comes to how you should construct something creatively. You probably put way more time than you need to put on something, or restrict yourself from dealing with some form of creative expression because you feel like, sometimes Aquarius just don't want to deal with the light, don't want to be in stage. Saturn don't reflect light and may not see use and purpose in being the face if it could be in the background, working things, networking things, managing things, connecting things, So dealing with the financial aspect to things. So Aquarius may deal with that in this 5th house. So you got to be careful you don't restrict yourself when it comes to your creative endeavors, because you may already experience restrictions in this area. Wherever Saturn is at in your chart, wherever Aquarius, Capricorn is at in your chart, you got to expect things to manifest in time, to move gradually, and to be patient. So that's something that you got to apply here. Aquarius in the 5th house. But it could definitely, I don't want to say don't use the word rejections, but once again, power and control issues, not having their art accepted, here to stand in 3rd. Like, all right, put it like this. Y'all know the movie Straight Outta Compton, NWA. You see how they portrayed in that movie, how when they started, doing their thing, especially when they made the track F the Police, you see how that manifested a lot of opposition. That would, like, if you did like a composite chart for NWA, I wouldn't be surprised if they're like Libra risings, if that, like, they're and they have as a group, when NWA was founded as a group, or that song. If I even look up, let me look up the astrology of that song. NWA F the Police release date 1988. This would be nice on a live stream. I don't want to kind of make this video too long. It's just something interesting. It's like that shit was super opposing rebellious. I don't want to get into it. I'm gonna have to plug the info in. But wait, I'm just trying to see the month it was released. It's 1988, but what month? Well, what's good, Wikipedia? Where you at? Okay, there we go. August 9th. Okay. All right. Well, shit. Dealing with opposites, it's funny because we talk about the 5th house. They dropped that during Leo season. So that shit done got a lot of awareness. But yeah, y'all get my point. The real opposing and rebellious, but influential. We got to keep that word. What we could say, all that weird, different, abstract, all of that, energy when it comes to Aquarius energy. But understand, it will be influential. It may go against the grain, but you're going to watch other people start doing it, and you're going to know where that energy came from. So they could be trendsetters in that type of way when it comes to the fifth house. They're not going to do things that other people do. They're going to be real innovative, and it's going to manifest into them being trendy in this area. Libra risings. This is why Libra risings this is why self-identity is very important for Libra risings in this lifetime, to understand that. This house starts to play a huge factor in that. It's, fifth house trines your first house. So Libra in the first house, then we bring Aquarius into the fifth house. So in the first house, you have opposition, because when it comes to personal things, you're dealing with relationships in your personal life, and you can get consumed in relationships when this is the house to deal with your personal identity, right? Your personal approach and outlook to things, and how you personally initiate things. And when you get into the fifth house, you start to sometimes not get attention for things until you appeal or connect with others that's not really in your space. Not really, because Aquarius is more outside realm, public environment, the outside world, strangers, unknown faces and places. Aquarius rules the unknown. So when you start putting yourself in a situation where you're not trying to please the energies around you, the people that correlate to you, and you give yourself a chance to be seen out there at times, that's when you could kind of see the ball get rolling at times with creative endeavors with Aquarius in that fifth house. All right. So I'm glad that came to mind before I said that. Sometimes Libra rising, I got to make sure you expand or give yourself a chance to be seen, known, heard, outside in the world, and make more connections. And essentially that's what we all got to do. But we got different paths and whatnot. Sometimes energies that's close to us, our familiar environment. Third house could be an area where a lot of things get popping for us. So it really depends. But that's something to keep in mind. Aquarius in the fifth house. These are also, once again, these are going to have great manager, business, practical, aspects towards creative endeavors in the fifth house. And also when it comes to, the relationship with the inner child, these individuals, Aquarius in the fifth house, their connection with the inner child may have a lot to do with, things that are dealing with, I don't want to say the unknown, but more different, abstract. There's certain hobbies they may be into or whatnot. And they may like having fun on their own. Aquarius man individual, they may like having fun on their own, or fun to them may be astrology, maybe the occult, maybe things that stimulate their mind about things that's going on in the world, So that's what we got going on. That's what we got going on with Aquarius in the fifth house, family. All right, y'all make sure to like, share, subscribe, so we could circulate these gems. All right, tap into my Patreon and dive deeper, and tap into my website to connect with the Lucky Libra. Next episode, we picking it up, we wrapping it up. All right, with Pisces in the fifth house. Until then, peace.